The International Federation of Women Lawyers has called on INEC to show better preparedness ahead of the gubernatorial elections across the country. The program's manager of the federation, Fikih Obaro, made this known at a press conference in Abuja to highlight women participation in the presidential elections in some states of the country. Obaro, who says security officers should do more to protect voters during the polls, called on INEC to prioritize female voters to cast their votes.
FIDA Nigeria observed from INEC official results made available in the public space that 24,025,940 Nigerians exercised their franchise at the polls from a total of 93,469,008 million registered voters. This indicates that about 26.71% of registered voters actually participated in the polls, with about 73.29% abstaining from the voting process. We observed some negative incidents of patriarchal, physical, and other forms of violence perpetrated against women at some polling units within our observation in the focal states and the country. For instance, at polling unit 003 Ward 4 Kora local government area of Kaduna State, men in the polling unit had protested and resisted the prioritization of women voting. At polling unit 18 Ward 8 Matil local government Borno State, there were incidences of physical violence of which women became victims, which discouraged and limited their participation. At polling unit 001 Kwabai, Utaria local government area, we observed that male party agents clearly intervened in the voting process by ensuring that women had voted for only a particular political party. In Edo State, a lady was shot dead by assailants who shot sporadically at her polling units while votes were still being counted. This incident had disrupted the voting process. Similar incident had occurred in Surulere area of Lagos, where a woman was attacked and stabbed by party thugs. She, however, despite these violent setbacks, returned to cast her votes. Therefore, in the view of our pre-election, preliminary and post-election observations and findings during the election, FIDA Nigeria recommends the following to the fellow below-mentioned actors towards deepening the democratic process in Nigeria ahead of the governorship and state house of assembly elections scheduled to hold on the 11th of March 2023. Our recommendations are for the following actors. 1. Independent National Electoral Commission. 1. Prosecution of electoral offenders observed to have committed all forms of electoral violence in contravention to the Electoral Act 2022 as amended, which will serve as a deterrent to other intending offenders. 2. Train and retrain electoral officers and ad hoc staff on current technologies and realities to enable them meet with the changing needs of the Nigerian electoral process. 3. Given the above below average turnout in the just completed elections, we urge INEC to embark on high-level dialogues with key stakeholders, including traditional and religious leaders, to encourage the participation of more female electorates and citizens in general to exercising their franchise at subsequent elections. 4. The voters' register needs to be cleaned up by INEC towards enabling the country have an accurate number of truly registered voters. 5. Issues related to the time frame for conducting elections needs to be extended from 8:30 a.m. to about 5 p.m. to encourage more women participation. For security agencies, we call on the security agencies deployed for election duty to arrest and investigate all those involved in electoral crimes and in contravention to the Electoral Act for prosecution. We also call on security agencies to continually adhere to the principles of impartiality and neutrality towards securing the polls, which will help in mitigating electoral violence, especially those perpetrated against women in elections. For politicians and for political parties, we ensure that we call that they should maintain peace and be magnanimous in victory. We also call for them to work with all Nigerian citizens, including those in opposition parties, towards improving governance and the well-being of citizens. Violence that were really perpetrated in these elections were actually more in the southern part of the country than the northern part, and less in the states that we observed. If you also get our observation statements also with other independent observers in the elections, you will find out that in the 4 states that we observed, elections was quite peaceful. People turned out in numbers, and even issues relating to violence were easily identified and were easily controlled. And so going ahead to the governorship elections, we expect that the stakes will be higher, we expect that competition will be higher, and we expect that security agencies should do all what they need to do, basically in deploying their resources, both human and material resources, to the polling units, and to ensure that if issues of violence are perpetrated, they are ready and they are able to stem the tide in the polling units. From this observation statement from the country vice president, you will recall that we have stated that the security architecture needs to be more improved because we found out that in most of the polling units we just had an average of 2 security personnel per polling unit. When compared to the number of voters in some polling units that were even above 500, you would agree with us that that is quite minimal, and that cannot really take care of the security issues that really prevail at the polling units. And so it's our expectation that security agencies would deal more on intelligence gathering, we deal more on intelligence roping, we deal more on collaboration, intelligence collaboration amongst themselves, and we also ensure that they deploy their men on field towards ensuring that they can preempt issues of violence against women and respond effectively if such occurs during the governorship and state house of assembly elections.